Let's start by going over some wins. What are some wins that you guys have had so far this week? It's already Wednesday. We're halfway through. Give me some wins.
Um, Go ahead. I was just gonna say that
Well,
that one client
or you can go, Morgan.
is already setting me up with three of their neighbors. So that one sale is turning into five pretty quickly. And yeah, so that's been good. I've actually had a
Wow,
question about the ethos leads and how we should
that's
script
awesome.
that. Like, do I just simply say, like, okay, yeah,
Okay, hold on. Hold that thought.
okay.
Hold that thought, Morgan. We'll jump into that in a minute. Coulter, you had some wins that you wanted to go over.
Yeah. I scheduled 9 appointments yesterday, so that was good. Um, and ran through 4 illustrations or presentations, I should say, yesterday, and they went well. Some of the clients just kind of had unreal expectations, so it was hard to navigate that. But I rescheduled 3 of them that they needed to chat with some folks, chat with family members and such. So we'll see what happens from that. But it was a good day overall.
Awesome. Awesome. You guys are both doing awesome. You just need to be persistent, right? And what is persistency? Persistency is persistent in everything, right? Persistent at your dialing, persistent at keeping your schedule of what you guys say you're going to work, then go ahead and do that, right? So if you say you're going to work from 8 till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, make sure to do that, right? And then persistency when you're on the phone with a client as well. Because nobody, and you guys probably already know this, nobody wants to pay for life insurance. They all want it for free. They know they got to pay for it, but nobody wants to pay for it, right? That's the biggest hurdle we have. And so fitting it into their budget and then closing the deal, that's where persistency plays out, right? And if you guys can be persistent and adamant in everything that you guys do, everything will just start to become a lot easier for you. And
Yeah.
that includes being persistent with yourself too, not just everybody else, but being persistent with yourself. And what does that look like? That looks like doing what you say you're going to do in all things,
Yeah.
right? If you say tomorrow I'm going to clean my bedroom and clean it spick and span, make sure to do it, right? So yeah,
That's been
we
one. That's
lost
been
Morgan.
one big thing is actually sticking to a schedule. And I haven't been seeing anyone. I've just been hunkering down. Just work is it right now because I will say I have a very busy summer. I'm doing lots of things, so it will be much more sporadic then. But right now, the next few months, I'm like, all right, this is time that I should really hunker down and get a good foot forward in this business. So it's been good. Much more
Yeah.
dedicated towards it.
And you'll find, Coulter, I'm glad you brought that up because you'll find that as you adhere to your actual schedule, like let's say you have a big project that you need to work on, like you're trying to, do something to build your business, right? Like right now, I'm revamping my website. I'm actually done revamping it. So it's finally done. And so my website guy and I have been meeting and meeting and meeting for like the last 6 weeks. And of course, it's my website. So I have to come up with website ideas in order to give to him so he can implement them. Well,
Hmm.
that takes time, right? And so I know that it's a big project. It all needs to be done. And so what I did was I put it on my schedule. Okay, this hour I'm working on website stuff. And if I'm not done with website stuff at the end of the hour, so what? That's all I allocated for that hour is is just that hour, or that's all I allocated for the website stuff was just that hour. So now I'm moving on to the next thing that I have scheduled. But by doing that 1 hour a day, if you have that big project like that, you're still moving forward. But what most people do is they don't put that time in their schedule to allocate for those big things that need to happen. And so they get pushed off and pushed off and pushed off. And before you know it, 3 months goes by, a month goes by, and you're like, dang, I should have been working on this the whole time. Right. It's kind of like you, Coulter. If you don't mind, I'm going to use you as an example. for the last month when you first started, you couldn't even set an appointment. You would set an appointment, but it wasn't a quality appointment, right? And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden they wouldn't show up and you're like, what am I doing wrong? Well, to you, in your mind, you were like, that's a quality appointment. What am I talking about? Until you talk to somebody that's a little bit better than you. And then all of a sudden you start setting more quality appointments. And then all of a sudden now you're starting to see that after not just setting appointments, but doing one call closes, you're seeing your improvement because you're getting closer and closer and closer to making that sale, right?
Mhm.
To helping that family get protected, to helping them have that peace of mind that they're literally, they're not going to have a financial catastrophe in their family because they don't have money if somebody dies.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're literally right there. And all of that includes not knowing what you don't know. Right. Because along the way, you're like, okay, I can sell life insurance, no problem. But how many conversations have we had for different scenarios in the last 3-4 days?
Oh, many.
A lot, right? And all of a sudden it comes up to where, oh, well, I didn't know that, right? But I didn't know that until that thing happens that I need to get the extra education on so that I can implement that the next time it happens, right?
Yeah.
So there's a big difference between captive agencies and brokers like we are. Captive agencies, they go through 2 to 6 weeks worth of training, and they're only trained on a few products that specific company has. Us, we have a lot more training. We have training on how to sell. We have training on how to close, how to build value, how to price condition. But then we also have training for all the different carriers, all the different apps, all the different scenarios that may apply to this carrier, but may not apply to this carrier, that kind of thing, right? So I commend you for sticking to it, working hard, being persistent, because persistency will get you there and then consistency will keep you there, right? So when you start making those sales, don't go to Disneyland.
As tempting
Don't
as it
go on
sounds, right?
vacation. Right? Because as soon as you do that, then all of a sudden your momentum goes right back down. Keep building that momentum, and all of a sudden you're going to skyrocket, and then you'll be making $10,000 a month by helping families. And then you'll be consistent at making $10,000 a month, and you're going to hear me say the same thing. Keep being consistent. And then it'll go from 10 to 15 to 20 to 40, 50 grand a month consistently.
Yeah.
You know how much 50 grand a month is?
A lot.
$600,000 a year.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
That's over $500,000 a year from selling life insurance. How many kids your age, both of you, your age makes $500,000 a year? Do you know any of them?
I honestly don't think I do.
Yeah. What about you, Morgan?
Hold on. Sorry, my computer is lagging like crazy. It takes me 10 seconds to unmute myself. The only people I know are in FFL. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only people you know that make that kind of money are in FFL. Isn't that a coincidence, right? Yeah. So I didn't mean to sidetrack you, Morgan. I know you had a question about the ethos abandoned leads.
I should be saying exactly, or like what you would say to these people. Like, do you start it off like, hey, like, I don't know. Will you just like run over an example, I guess?
So Coulter's been working those leads and he's doing pretty good. Coulter, how about you say your speed?
Yeah, I was going to say, because especially with the first like quick bit of the conversation, it's been going good. Of,
definitely.
Honestly, like keeping them on and such. So we could run through it.
Go for it.
All right. And there's a few different ways I can go about it, but
hello?
I'll just go with one that's been working recently. So, ring.
Yes. Who is this?
Yeah, Morgan. Yeah, this is Coulter getting back to you here. So I just had some information come across my desk that looks like you're interested in some life insurance at a point, but haven't fully committed.
Yeah, not really
I just
sure
wanted
what you're
to see
talking
if there's
about.
anything I could help you with. Yeah, so let me just look here. It looks like when my secretary dropped off shows you're interested in some life insurance. Not quite sure what yet. And I'm a senior underwriter here in the state of Minnesota. So basically, what I do is I work with 20 plus A-rated insurance carriers nationwide and able to shop around
Sure.
and
I don't
find the
have any
most
time right
affordable rate
now.
for you. Does that sound
I'm
good?
at work.
No worries. Let me check my schedule tomorrow. Got quite a few appointments booked up
Sure.
right
Yeah,
now,
that's
but
my
I
lunch
do
break.
have an opening at 1:30. Would that work for you? 1:30. Perfect. Sounds good. And you can just go ahead and write down my name with a pen and piece of paper if you have. That'll be Coulter Benoit. Life insurance you could put under that. And in the meantime, I'll just send you over a text with some of my information. One will be the state just requires me to leave my license with you, which is my state producer's license. And with that, you can just look up in the website of Insurance Commerce to see that I'm qualified to sell insurance in the state of Minnesota. Secondly, will be all the insurance companies that I work with. And lastly, will be just picture me so you know what I look like and I'm not some robot trying to hassle you. Does that sound good? Perfect. Looking forward to chatting with you tomorrow morning. Bye.
Okay, are you setting appointments all the time, Coulter, or are you running one call closes?
Uh, no, I'm trying to run a one call close. Only time I set an appointment would be if it's something like, hey, I'm in the car, I really can't talk right now, and then that's when I set an appointment. Otherwise, I'm running a one
Okay.
call close.
Okay. How come you didn't do that with her? Just curious.
Because she says she doesn't have any time right now.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why
Very
she
good.
just, it sounded like she did not want to talk. So then that's why I pivoted into appointment setting.
Okay. And then you set the appointment for the next day.
Yeah.
Why not set it for the same day?
Well, that's true. I will say, personally, for me, well, yes. So I will look. That's a good point. I will look that day to see if I have any openings. Do that, and I have done that a few times. That's the only tough thing with my serving gig is I'm busy most nights from 4 p.m. on, so I can't do the whole when they come home from work. Um, Except Thursday is my one night off,
Well,
but then I also do a bunch of band stuff that night. So sometimes I can do Thursday nights of sending a call, but otherwise it's got to be afternoon. So then most of the time it has to be like the next day or the day after that they're available in the morning or afternoon. But
okay. So what you can do, you can actually use that, even though you're not working, use that. Use that with the client to build credibility. What time do you get back in the door from work? Well, I get back in about 5 o'clock. Ooh, I'm booked totally after 5 o'clock. It looks like I have an appointment every hour for until 9 o'clock. What about tomorrow? You know what I mean? And you don't really
gotcha.
have an appointment. I mean, you have appointments, but they're at the serving gig, right? So you're not
Yeah.
really lying.
Yeah.
So use that and that way it kind of builds credibility. And then what you want to do, especially since they're, final expense, I mean, you can kind of fill it out to see how serious they are about it. If they're serious, and you can even ask them, is this something that you're seriously interested in protecting your family? And if they
hmm
say, yeah, I really, really need to get life insurance, that they're super interested. Then book the appointment for the next day if you can. Now, another thing that you can do is use phrases or verbiage that seems like you're doing them a favor, right? Like, I don't have too much time open. I know this is important to you. I want to get, something in place. And I'm probably one of the only managers here that has access to so many carriers. So I can shop around for you for the best policy and best price. But um, ah, I can squeeze you in at 12 or I can squeeze you in at 2 o'clock. Which one better suits you, right? You see how I'm kind of getting them to understand that I'm doing them a favor. I could have the whole open day, right? But I want them to understand that, look, I'm their guy. I'm the man, right? I'm not trying to be conceited, but the more they think that, look, this guy can really help me out, the more they're going to want to be on that call. And the more busier you are, the more they're really going to want to be on that call and answer the phone, because they know that it may be hard to talk to you again. And if you let them know that, look, you can shop around for them, find them the best valuable price or valuable policy with the best price, they don't have to do any work. You're taking all the work away from them. They don't have to go shopping around, right? And then nail down the appointment. Don't ever forget to nail down the appointment. I'm telling you, if you nail down the appointment, your show up rate will go from 30% up to about 70%. Okay, do you remember how to nail down the appointment?
Specifically, no, I'm not quite sure what you're saying by nailing it down.
Okay. Nailing down the appointment is basically helping them understand and commit to the appointment. So, number one, I would say, okay, so, and you did the right thing, but you kind of phrased it a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
You said, grab a pen and paper because I'm going to have you write my name down, right? What I would say is something like, and they may say, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then they're not even grabbing a pen and paper.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We want them to actually write it down. And it's not because we want them to put that piece of paper in their pocket and keep it and love it and kiss it and hold it, right? We don't care about that. We just want to make sure that they write it down, because that way they're using 3 of the 5 senses to remember it and remember how important it is. So the way I would phrase it is I would say, okay, can you do me a favor? By law, since we're doing this over the phone, I need you to write down my license number. Number one, it builds credibility. Number one, you're having them write down your license number. So now it's going to help them remember the appointment. Yeah, okay, I got a pen and paper handy. Great. First of all, write down my name so you can look me up through my license number. My name is Shawn Simpson. My license number is 123-456-789. And then since you have your pen and paper there, write down the appointment is at 2 p.m. tomorrow. And then obviously you're not going this fast. You're kind of going a little bit slower, waiting for them to write, right? And then this is the kicker. This is a big thing, and most agents forget about this. Write down important, and I say it twice, right? And the reason why we say it twice is so they can hear it twice, they can feel it twice by writing it down, and they can see it after they write it down, right? And sometimes I'll go as far as say, write down in big letters, important, right? And so you can imagine now they have a pen and paper there that has their name, your license number, your the appointment time, and important.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
So by having them do that, then what you can do is say, as far as you know right now, I'm squeezing you in. So as far as you know right now, there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to make that appointment, right? And they'll say, no, I can make that appointment. Fantastic. Do me a favor. Have a pen and paper handy at the time of our appointment, because I'm going to go over some important information that you're going to want to write down. Right? And so by letting them know that you're going to want to write it down, that also helps them understand that, wow, this is important because I'm going to want to write some stuff down. Okay? And then the next thing you can do is say, hey, do me a favor. As you know, I have a full schedule tomorrow. Give me about a 15-minute window on both sides of that appointment. And if I get done a little bit early, can I call you just a tad bit early? And they'll say, yes. But what are they really saying, Coulter?
Saying,
yes, you can call me.
Right? Yeah.
Give me about a 15 to 30-minute window on both sides of that appointment. And if I get done a little bit early, I'll call you a tad bit early. Is that okay? Yes, you can call me.
Yep.
Right? Now you've just taken them through a series of steps to write down the appointment, to have a pen and paper handy at the time of our appointment, and to know that you may be running a little bit late, but if you call a little bit early, that yes, they just gave you permission. And when you use those three things, your show up rate will go up to about 70%. Right? And then here's the other thing. And I don't do this all the time, but you can. Look, if something does come up, please text me, because that way I can, and you can text me at this number. This is my cell phone. Same number that my mom has, my grandma has, same number that I use every day. If something comes up, just text me and we'll reschedule, okay? And then that way, if they do text you, you know they're serious. Number two, you can get them back on the schedule. Or you can say, if an emergency arises, please text me.
Cool.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No.
So
That makes a lot of sense.
That'll help you have your close ratio show up a little bit more. That's what I mean. Going through those steps, that's what I mean by nailing down the appointment.
Yeah.
So whenever you hear me say that, that's exactly what I mean by that.
I will say, thus far this week, I have not had any no-shows, actually, which is much better than prior,
Awesome.
which is good. Yeah. Because I feel like prior, it was like, oh my gosh, finally make 4 appointments and none of them show up. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
so,
I guess
any
actually I
questions
do have
or
one
concerns
question. Should we be mentioning the fact that they filled out an ethos
No.
application, or should
want
we
me to
just
go
leave
through
that
it?
out? Okay. Sorry, my I'm crazy. Okay.
You can. It's totally up to you. And I actually do that.
Right.
I
I
actually do that.
I haven't said that, and it's
Yeah.
been
Especially if they don't
fine because they're
remember the
like, oh
company
yeah, I have been
ethos, like
interested
that
in life
might just
insurance.
create
And then they
an
usually open
objection
up
right then
right
and
there
there.
of kind of why they've been looking into it. So I would say either way would probably work just fine.
Yeah. If you don't have to, no need to.
Right.
Well, again, you can everything, all the responses that you're ever going to get from a client is based off of the questions that you're going
Mm-hmm.
to ask them. If you ask the right questions, you'll get a better response, right? So, in other words, if you don't say the word ethos, they won't remember the word ethos. If you just say, it looks like you submitted a request for one of our online carriers, but didn't actually make the payment. So I was wondering, was it because it was too much money, or did you not like the coverage that they were asking, that they were wanting to cover you for, right? Multiple choice question, right? Well, it was too much. What's it going to be? It's always going to be the payment, right? On top of that, with ethos, most times they don't understand the coverage that they're getting. What are they doing when they go through the application? Well, they're just looking for a quote. They want to see how much coverage they can get for the price that they're willing to pay, right? And 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh, well, I got approved. Well, I'll just pay for it next week. And then that comes up or next week rolls around and they forgot to pay for it, right? Or they change their mind. They know they need it, but they changed their mind of logging back in. Or maybe they lost their login information. Maybe they don't remember the name, right? So there's all kinds of different reasons why, but these ethos abandon leads are really valuable because of that, because they literally go on there, they get approved for life insurance. So they got approved, that they're good to go, but they just didn't pull the trigger and make the payment. Now, the other thing is they don't understand about living benefits as well, because you can get living benefits with ethos, but most of the time they have no idea. And who's going to sit there and read all the fine print? They'll skim through it, but when you skim through everything, you're not diving deep and you're not completely understanding everything, right? So by you calling them up, and when they're still interested, and the leads that you guys have been getting are over 30 days old, 30 to 90 days, right? So they're still looking. But what you need to do as agents is kill all the other agents out of their mind. And so by doing that, my favorite phrase, you guys have heard me say this 100 times. So just so you know, I'm a broker. I have access to about 30 plus A-rated carriers nationwide. So what that allows me to do for you is customize something that best fits your situation, your needs, but most importantly, fits your budget, right? Now, I took all the work out of their hands. I took all the stress away. They don't have to shop around. They don't have to talk to another agent. Now, if you just get personable with them and help them understand that, I'm the guy, and if they love your personality, they connect with you, you guys are very personable people. Otherwise, you wouldn't be this far on the phone with them, right? And so that's a huge asset that you guys have. And so if you have the credibility with the client that I'm the only person that has access to this many carriers, and I'm going to do the work for you, I'm going to shop around for you and customize something according to your situation and your needs, but most importantly, fits your budget, right? Now, I just cut out all the guys, all the other agents. I'm fitting it, I'm customizing it for them. I'm going to customize it for their situation, and I'm going to make sure it fits in their budget, right? So, where else are they going to go? They're going to sit there and listen to you every single time. And then if you send over an email with your credibility information, your license, a picture of you, and a picture of all the carriers, you can walk them through that, and they're going to know right away that you're the person, right? Now, that one guy that Grady interviewed, he uses insurance toolkits, and he'll literally, and crank wheel. And what he does, I don't know if you got, I know Coulter, you were on the call. I don't know if you were, Morgan, but he's brand spanking new. He hasn't even been in insurance for 90 days yet. And what he does, and he sells final expense. And so what he does is he sends him a crank wheel link. He'll get all of the information, go through the financial inventory. Then he sends him a crank wheel link. Doesn't even tell him. He just says, I'm going to send you a text message right now. And in there is a crank wheel link. She disappeared.
I think we lost her.
Yeah. I was kind of saying this for her because you've already seen it.
Yeah. Can I just ask you a random question about going through the process with application? So yesterday when I was chatting with a couple about the IUL, I built a value. They're very interested, really nice folks. They've been chatting with someone else, I believe from like State Farm too. So I kind of told them the difference in what I do now, living benefits with this, the value of the policy. They're like, oh, okay. But then the tough thing is, like, they're really wanting to know a quote. I was holding off on giving them that information until I filled out financial inventory, all that. But then as I went into the Americo, it's like the social security number is within that first page. And when I just kind of casually went down it, I prepped them for it that, like we will do financial institution, social number at a point. But it seemed like pretty quick with it. That how do you navigate that when it comes up so fast, I guess?
I guess I'm not understanding the question. How do I navigate what if it comes up?
The aspect of, like, do you give quotes before you go into the request form, the application through Americo? Because I feel like the rate would change once you go through the application of if you put in any medical stuff or anything like that, that it would change.
Well, if you go through the application, you should be able to answer no on all the questions. If you can't, you should be able to, because that's how what you find out on the financial inventory, right? Because if they don't qualify for America, you're not going to put them in there.
Yeah.
Now, there's also this one-off where you're in the application, they tell you something that you didn't know, right? That shouldn't happen too often.
Okay.
But if you answer yes to any of them, it's going to deny them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what you can do, though, what I always did with Americo, we always lead with Americo, right? Just because the application's easiest to pay the most, and it's simplified issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know where the drop-down menu is on Americo, right?
What do you mean by drop-down menu?
Up in the application on the top right.
Yeah.
You know where that is?
Oh, yes, I see what you're saying. That you go to the quota rather than filling out that first page right away?
No, on the application. So let me get it.
I'm pulling it up right now. So isn't it like drop down to like 10 or 8 things within the?
Oh shoot. Do you guys know what the website is for the demo app?
It's I'm on tools.americoagent.com.
Yeah, they have a demo app.
I thought the demo was still
Where it
with
is. Here, let me
like
find it.
one. Is it like the option? Excuse me, sorry, I can't talk today. The option is where you would also press, application. There's like application, and then there's demo app within your account.
Oh, I found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the e-app or the illustration.
Yeah, I found it. Okay. So let me share.
So, and while you're pulling this up, I guess my question was, do you basically get them to say fully yes before you start filling out the request form? Because that's just what I stumbled with. They were yes, yes, yes until the social came. They're like, well, before we give you that, we need to think about things more, basically.
Yeah. So you need to preface them before all of that stuff comes up, right?
Yeah.
So in the IUL, the term series, these are all the same, right? But my point is, as you get in here, I'll just click on this. You'll answer all of this information, right? Remote, because we're doing it over the phone. No, they're not going to use Chime. So here's the demo app, right? So you guys can go in here. It's tools-demo.americoagent.com. Okay. And so you put in here Coulter Linkus. See how I did that? That's kind of funny, huh? So, okay, 512, 190, 123, 56, 8899, 123, 56, 8899. Okay. Oh, whoops. So their app is super, super duper easy, right? 40,000, occupation, actuary, doesn't matter. 123 Main Street, Springfield, Nebraska.
I actually do live on Main Street.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay. I'm trying to get to the next page here so I can show you.
Could I maybe add something in real quick?
1, 2, 3.
Just to maybe help Coulter. So what I say before I'm even in the application with them is like, we're going to spend the next 5 to 10 minutes going over some more specific health questions. And the insurance company is going to have to verify your health data. All the prescriptions you're on, make sure everything that you just told me is accurate. This is like after we go over the financial inventory. Now, I just want to be sure that you didn't lie to me, because they will find that out by checking your health record. They'll be like, no, that's everything. And I'll be like, okay, they check your health record by using your social security number. So I am going to need that. And then we're also going to need to check your bank information to make sure you're not pulling this policy out on someone else that isn't you without their consent, and like that. You are who you say you are. So I just, preface that before I even go into the app. Just
Yeah. I think where I went wrong was I wanted to wait to quote them until I got into the application more. Because they're like, well, why do you need a social if I just want to see how much it would be?
because it,
And I think
yeah.
that's why I went wrong.
So I say that before I touch the app, before I quote them. Like that is still, that's before I choose.
I did that same. I prefaced them in that way, and they said, okay, sounds good. But they're like, well, before we go forward, I want to kind of see, like, why do you need my social
Because the
to
rate
just
is
see what the
completely
rate would be,
dependent on their
basically.
health record.
I go, oh, just
Just say that. The insurance company has to verify that before they can give me a quote.
So my question for you then, Morgan, do you get their social before you end up giving them quotes, or do you end up usually doing the quote
I
and
think
then
I
social
get the
and then the rest of the stuff?
social. I mean, I guess it depends on the application. I mean, like for AIG, I gave them the three options,
Yeah.
and then we went into the application, and then I got their social security. Also, I just say like this isn't necessarily
Yeah.
like you're not
So-
approved right now. So the whole purpose of this call today is to figure out whether or not you're approved. No money is going to be taken out today. This is solely for that purpose, and the quote doesn't mean anything if you get denied. So that's I don't know if
Yep.
that helps.
So if I'm
Okay.
Yeah, no, it does. Thank you.
So if I'm in a Marico application, okay, let's say I've gone through the whole financial inventory and I'm going to say, I know just by looking at the financial inventory, they may get approved for an IUL, right? I'm like 99% chance that they're going to get approved for an IUL. So the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I recommend a company called Americo. Out of the 30 plus carriers that I have, I think this one will be the best benefit to you. And here's why. It has living benefits up to 100%, critical, chronic, and terminal. Americo's been around since 1970. They're a great company. So what we're going to do is submit a request to them to see if we can even get you approved. Because if we can't get you approved, we're kind of back to square one, right? Now they're going to say, well, how much is it? And then you're going to say, well, I can't get that information. I'll definitely get that information to you, but I have to get into the request form in order to see that information. But I can't submit the form without you agreeing to the price. And again, I'm here to help you, and I'm here to put you in the best position possible that's affordable for your budget. So now I'm in here, I'm going through the application, and I'll say, now in the request form, you probably already know this, right? Because I say, whenever I want them to like feel bad if they don't know this, not necessarily feel bad, but whenever I want them to feel stupid if they don't know something, I'll say, you probably already know this, like they should know this, right? And then I'll say, this is life insurance, so they're going to check you out. So the way they do that, they're going to do that through your social security number. They use that to verify who you say you are and that there's no fraud going on. I'm sure that's not you, is it, Betty? Oh, no, that's not me. Right? And they're also going to make sure that you're not running from the cops or on any type of a prescription that's going to kill you in the next year. Okay, so they're going to check your MIB. Now, the good thing about that is that, or your Medical Information Bureau. Now, the good thing about that is that you don't have to pee in a cup, do a blood draw, or a medical exam, unless you want to. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, great. So now I've already prepped them, right? So now I'm going through here. I'm going to go right back to, and this right here, here's the drop-down menu. So you can go to any of these pages.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Okay. Now you can't go to the pages that are gray because if you click on that, none of these have been checkmarked. But you can go to the ones that are white, right? So I'm going through here. I'm verifying the spelling of their name, right? And Coter. I forgot the L. So then I'm going in here. I'm asking their birthday, right? By asking them all of these questions, it's also building credibility, right? Who else is going to ask these questions except for a life insurance agent, right? Click that, go to the next one, ask their name. Okay, you spell it C-O, da-da-da-da-da-da, right? Ask their middle initial. And you're single, got your height is 5'11", your weight is 190. What's your soc? Like it's no big deal.
Yep.
What's your soc, right? And then where were you born? Go through all these questions, okay? Then you'll come down here, you'll put their information in there, click on the product. Now what you're going to do is this doesn't matter at the time. This is the way I do it. This doesn't matter. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to just put in 450,000 because that's the max. I'm going to come down here and we're going to do 50-50. Now on America IULs, I do 50-50 every single time. They're a non-smoker, no marijuana. Here's a terminal, critical, chronic, and terminal. It's all included for free. They're going to do a monthly bank draft. See, here's the amount. You already know the amount. Doesn't mean that I'm going to say that's the amount. I'm going to continue
So
on. Now we're
you know that amount. The one thing that he was on is one medication for high blood pressure. So that's why I didn't want to quote him right away, because I was like, it might be more because he's on that medication. But do they even ask for the prescriptions or medications on the
No, they're going to
application?
check that out with the MIB. You need to know
But
that for you, not for
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Once I do this and I hit this button, it's going to send them that text message
Yeah.
to verify, and it's going to send a text, right? Oh my gosh. Won't do it because that's my cell phone and I'm the agent. So I send a text, right? It's going to text them, and then they got to give me the code. Oh, crap. What's your phone number?
320-282-7342.
Okay. Yeah, because it won't let me go past the screen without the code. So give me the code, Coulter.
433-610.
Okay. So verify code, right? Now, I haven't even said anything about the price, right?
Is that typically what you like? You don't say any price yet. You're still figuring things out. You need to get their social number and stuff to kind of see where they would fit. Okay.
Because what happens is, I already asked the soc.
Yeah.
Right? Now I'm going to go through all their personal history, and I'm going to say, okay, that's sent into underwriting, and I prepare them. Look, I'm going to send you a text. This is going to allow them to, do you know what a HIPAA form is? And they'll say, yeah. I'll say, okay, this is just like, and no matter what they say, yes or no, I'm going to explain it to them anyways. This is just like going into the doctor's office or the nurse's office, and then, you have to sign a HIPAA form in there. It basically says that myself and America, we can't share your information with anybody, and it allows them to check your prescription check against the MIB. Okay, no problem. Then I send them that code. They send me the code back. They let me know what it is. Now I'm going to say, okay, that's sent in to underwriting. They're going to let us know in a minute if we can continue asking questions, or if we can continue with the application. But I'm going to get a head start, and I'm going to say, but I can start with some of these questions here before it comes back. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Just give me a yes or no answer. And then I'll go through each one of these questions and ask them. Now, I already know by the green screen that pops up here that they've already been approved, right? But I'm not going to tell them that. I'm going to go through all these questions. And so I'm going to answer all these because I can't move forward unless I answer them. Oops.
Basically, if you checked yes on any of these, it would be a denial for a term or IUL.
Well, this one you have to check yes.
Because of driver's license, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of the way the applications are set up, right? Cool. Now I'm going to go through all the health questions. The other one's the history questions. These are all the health questions, right? I'm going to get through all of this. Why am I doing this before I tell them the price? Well, for one, the longer we keep them on the phone, the more we're building credibility with the client. Number two, by me asking these questions, it's kind of putting them through the rigmarole, right? And they're not going to want to go through this again with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And so it helps close the deal if they don't want to go through this again, right? And then at the end, when I go tell them the price, see, we're going through all of this information, asking them every single question. No. No. They don't even know what the price is, right? Dr. Oz, 12389 Main Street. Phone number 402-899-9567. Yes, he's my personal care physician. It's the same above. Now, if they don't know their doctor, you can just put in a facility.
Okay.
Or a hospital, right? Click confirm, go to existing insurance, click no. Now,
if they were to have existing insurance, would you go yes and then fill that out?
It depends.
Okay.
Technically, you have to.
Yeah.
But do I do it every time? No, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's their reasoning for that even?
Get with me after the call and we'll go into detail on that.
Okay, cool.
Okay, because it's been recorded. So now here's the beneficiary, right? This is where I stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, okay, why? Because I'm going to use the beneficiary to help close the deal. Because if you look up here, this is what's left. The beneficiary, the billing and payment, and then the agent questions, and then we're going to sign and submit. It's that simple.
Yeah, it keeps kicking
Morgan,
me
if you have to turn off your camera, if that's
I just
easier
have a
for
quick
you
question.
to kind
I
of
thought
stay
after
on.
they do that, like after they do the text signature, you can't change the product.
Sure.
Oh, okay. I don't.
No, you can change the product. See, right here, product right here.
You can change the face.
Oh, you can change.
Yeah,
You can't
okay.
change
I
the
just
product.
know with
You're
like
right.
AIG,
You can't change the
for
product,
example,
but you
like
can change the.
you have
the
to know
amount.
exactly how much coverage they're applying for.
Okay.
Yeah, at least that's what I thought. Yep.
Yeah. Well, you have to. Each
Right.
application is per
Okay.
product, but here in America, you can change the
Okay.
amount.
Yeah, I thought it locked before, so
Right?
maybe
It
that's
never
just
used
what
to
I
be
recall.
that way, but you can now.
Awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Okay. Thank you.
it used
Yeah.
to, long time ago,
Because then we'd
not
have to
anymore.
start an entire new application.
Because that's agents
Yeah,
complained
it's a
about
pain.
it. So yeah, new application, and sometimes we just go to another carrier. So they didn't want us doing that. They want us to write with America, right? So you're going to go through all of this. Once you get to the beneficiary, now this is where you stop, right? Now you're going to say, okay, we got through the questions. Let me see if it came back. Now you already know it came back, right? And then you'll say, okay, it says continue asking the questions. That's a good thing. Now do me a favor. This is where the part where you're going to build the value and you're going to price condition them. Okay. Now grab a pen and paper. I'm going to go over all the benefits of this policy for you. Okay. Now that's when they grab a pen and paper and they're sitting down. They're ready. They're focused. They're locked in and they're going to write everything down. Why do we want them to write everything down, Coulter?
They'll remember better. The 5
They'll
senses.
remember everything. Yeah. Not only that, when what they see on the piece of paper is all the benefits of the policy.
Yeah.
And you're going to have them write it down like this. Write down 450,000. Write down coverage for whole life. Next line down, write down never expires, right? I'm just having them write down line after line after line after line of benefits.
Yep.
Right? After that, write down critical illness up to 450,000. I don't want to say 100%. I want to say the number, right?
Yep.
Because at the end, I want them to have a piece of paper of 450,000, 450,000, 450,000, 450,000, right?
Yeah.
Not 100%, 100%, 100%. So it's the same thing, but it means something different,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Critical illness, 450,000. Write down chronic illness, 400 up to 450,000. Write down terminal illness, up to 450,000. Write down builds cash value. Write down level premium. So now I'll say I'm going to go over all of those, and now they have a piece of paper with like 8 benefits on there.
Okay, and then you break it down after they write all those?
Now I'm going to price condition them.
Okay.
Okay. So now you understand why. Now I'm talking to the client. Now you understand why I like Americo for my clients. You see all the benefits there? Yes. Do you think that could help you and your family? Yes. Why did I ask that question?
Getting them to agree and understand that it's helping them and good for them.
Yes. So then they're going to be like, yes. But then they're going to say, what's the next question that's going to come out of their mouth?
Price.
What's the price, right? Now they're eager to know. Now this is where we build, we price condition them. Now, if this is an IUL, I would do it a little bit differently because I want to, you know, and you can do it either way. It doesn't really matter. But I would say, okay, the max they go up to is 450,000. And so, because right now, this is just a placeholder. I haven't talked to them about coverage, nothing, right? Except for I had them write down 450,000. And I'll say the reason why I had you write down 450,000 is because that's the max it will go up to. But you can actually get a lot lower or get lower than that if you want to. So it really all depends on your budget. Now your mortgage is 300,000. What most of my clients like to do is apply for the 450,000. And if they get approved, sometimes they'll keep it. Sometimes they'll knock it down to 300,000 to cover their mortgage. Now, what did I just do there? I told them that it's adjustable after they get approved.
Yeah.
Right? For that first 30 days. But I didn't tell them. I nonchalantly just explained that to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so I'll say, okay, let me give you some pricing here. Now I'm going to go right back here. This is the product page, 762. That's the price that I have to make it seem like nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like no big deal. Okay. Now, the way I do that is I'll say, actually, I just had a guy, you know, how old is this guy? 50 something? We'll just say he's 50.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a guy get the same policy a few days ago, and he's actually 60, and he loved it so much because it builds so much cash value. It's in the index. In fact, you know, you can actually get up to 15% on your cash value every year on these policies. So that's pretty cool, huh? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So his premium on that was a little over $1,200 a month. So don't worry, yours won't be that high, but let me see what we can do here for you. Actually, yours is $950 a month. No, just kidding. Right? See, I'm building the value still. Actually, for 450, if you wanted to do 450, okay, it's pulling it up now. Huh? Actually, yours is only 763. You see how I did that? I didn't say $762.28. No.
Yep.
I'm going to say yours is only 763 and I'm rounding up. Why? Because that way when they get their bill and it's 762.28, it's less than what they expected.
Yep.
Right? And then I'll just shut up. Yours is only 763. And I pause there on purpose. You're going to feel uncomfortable.
I did this the other day, and the other person didn't say anything, and he ended up saying, "Are you still on the phone?"
Yeah. So even if he says that, the next person that talks loses, right?
Yeah.
And so if they say, "Are you still on the phone?" I'm going to assume that they don't have an objection. If they don't give you an objection, assume they don't have one.
Yep.
So now, what's the next stage? Beneficiary. So now what I'm going to say is, okay, The only thing we have left to do is I'll say something like the next step is your beneficiary. Who do you want to put in as your beneficiary? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll say, well, this has to be a new individual. And then I'll say, do you want them to have, I'm filling all this stuff out and they still haven't given me an objection. Right.
Yeah.
So let's fill this out. I'll just kind of play this out. Joe. Okay. And we're just going to say that's your sibling. Okay. Now we're going to go here and I'll say, okay, now we're at the payment stage. Obviously, you probably already know that once you do get approved, you got to pay for it. So do you want it to come out of a checking or a savings? I just kind of jump right down here.
Okay.
I want it to come out of a checking. Okay, perfect, right? They still haven't given me an objection. Okay, where do you bank at? There's no place for a bank here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why am I asking for a bank? For one, it sounds more legit, and I'm kind of easing them into the payment information. I'm not just going to say, okay, give me your routing number and account number.
Okay.
Where do you bank at? I bank at US Bank. So I'm going to say, okay. And they hear me typing. They can hear what I'm doing. US Bank, routing number, Missouri. Okay, so it pulls up a routing number of 081000210. Can you grab something to verify that? Now, notice I was about to say, do you have? Don't ask that question. What you want to say is, can you grab something to verify that? You're just telling them to grab something, right?
Do you need is it only by state or city? Like I go through Huntington. Could you just look up routing number Huntington, Minnesota, and it would pull up?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Routing number Huntington, Minnesota, and then put the bank name in there and it should pull it up. Now, that's why we also verify it, because if it's a big city, there may be a couple of routing numbers, right?
Okay.
And then say, can you grab something to verify that? And then they'll say, yeah. And then they already have what they have to verify it in front of them. And so then you'll say, okay, what's the account number? Or you can say, and the account number is?
Yep.
It's 123-99896. Perfect. Now up here, I'm going to put in here, they're asking, would you like to change your reoccurring monthly draft day? And I'm just going to say no. Now, if they're hemming and hawing about the draft day, then I will. I'll change it. I'll say, what day do you want it to be? Or if they give me an objection at this time and they say, well, I can't do that right now. I'll say, okay, when do you get paid next? On the 17th. Okay, no problem. We can just make it for the 17th of the month.
Cool. When would you say that premium will end up getting pulled? Like, would it be you submit it, they get accepted real quick, and then it would be like within an hour typically, or is it within a day, 2 days?
No. It takes time. So let's say, and let's say we submit it, they get approved right away. Yep. And then what happens is they submit for a payment. Now, if it's after 5 o'clock, they're not going to submit till the next day.
Okay.
And let's say it's at 12 o'clock. They'll submit it that day, but it won't come out of their account for 2 to 3 more days.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Okay.
Cool.
So it takes a little bit of time. And I'll say, okay. And then once I submit it, I'm not even going to tell them that they've been approved. Why? Because I want the opportunity to call them back.
Yep.
Right. And I'll say, okay, everything's been submitted. We'll give you a call back tomorrow to let you know the outcome, see if you got approved. And then we'll go from there. Then I call them back the next day and I'll say, okay, hi, Joe, or whoever. And I'll say, okay, I'm pulling up your policy now. I want to see if you got approved. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. You did get approved. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think that you were going to get approved. This is a hard policy to qualify for, and you got approved. Why is it so hard? Because this one builds cash value. This one will allow you to borrow from it tax-free. And this is what the wealthy have been using for years to grow their money tax-free and leave a legacy to their family. Now I'm just reselling it to them for a little bit.
Yep.
Right? I'm sinking it in even more. It gives me the opportunity to do that the next day after they've slept on it for a little bit. Now, if they have an objection, they may come back and say, well, I don't think I can afford $762. Okay, no problem. Then what you're going to do is go in here, go right back to the beginning, go to the quoter page and run a quote and say, how much do you think you would be able to afford? Well, I could probably afford $250. Run a quote for $250. Right?
After you submit a request, you can just go back into the application and change it?
No, you just go to another application. All you're doing is grabbing a quote, right?
Okay.
Run it for $250. Tell them how much it's going to be. Put their birth date in there. Tell them how much it's going to be, and just say, okay, no problem. $250. That'll give you $200,000 worth of coverage. And again, it's the same policy, same living benefits, same everything. The coverage is just a little bit more affordable for you. Is that better for you? Yes. Okay. I'll call Americo right now and have that adjusted. Okay. And just call Americo and have it adjusted. It can always come down.
Okay. So that's how, if you needed to adjust it, you would actually just call Americo.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And it's as simple as that. And that's how I do it every single time.
Sweet. That helped tremendously, actually, being able to go through that step by step. That helped a lot.
Awesome. All right. We kind of ran a little bit over, and I think I have an appointment right now, actually. Yes, I do.
Okay. Cool.
So,
thank you, Shawn. I really appreciate it. That answered many questions I've had that keep coming up within the application. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. That's how I do it, though. I run through the whole thing until I get to the beneficiary page. And then I'm just going to, she canceled the appointment, so I don't have an appointment. That's okay. Cool. So we can spend a little bit more time if need be. So I go all the way to the beneficiary page, and then I stop, and I'll say, okay, let me jump back here to see if if you got through. Right now, I already know they got through, because if they didn't get through and that green box didn't pop up, it'll stop the application right there. And then
At what point is that? Is that right after the SOCH number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they need the SOCH to be able to run the MIB report.
Yeah.
If it comes up as a green box, they're 99% chance to get approved.
Okay.
Cool. If it comes up anything else, it'll stop you right there, and it'll say guaranteed issue. We are not, and they'll withdraw the application. You're done. Then you have to pivot to another carrier. That's another reason why I like America.
Similar. So let's say we went AIG, pretty similar within that, then would you say, of how you run it?
Well, the AIG doesn't have any health questions because, well, if you start with SIWL, it does.
I'm saying, yeah, SIWL.
Yeah. So you can do it that way. I'm not 100% sure on their new application, Coulter. I've never written it because I'm specifically doing IULs. Yeah. So you may be able, but most applications will have like a drop down somewhere where you can go back and forth on the application.
Okay.
Only on the ones that you've already completed, though. On the parts of the application that you've already completed. Right?
Cool.
So.
Sweet.
All right.
Well, one question. Morgan was saying that there's an IUL boot camp. Where would I look that up?
In the gateway.
In the gateway?
Training. Yep. Under gateway in the training.
Okay. Oh, okay. Because, I still have some questions regarding IUL, but I'm like, well, I should just go through that.
Is it still called the SRS
training? A lot of those questions that I have. So, okay.
Yep,
for the IUL camp.
But
yeah, the IUL portion. So before you can go with NLG or FNG,
for the boot camp?
Shelby had me do the SRS training. At least that's what it was called. Okay. Gotcha.
It's actually on the
Gotcha.
gateway now
Okay.
as the IUL training. And then there's another one called an annuity training. They're revamping the SRS. In fact, China from Grady's team just sent me a text and said, "Hey, we're revamping all of our SRS training. Can you go through this and give me some
Nice.
tips
Nice.
and see if there's anything we can improve?" So I need to do that. But Grady has a website too. You guys, I'm going to put this in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know Jamie's, right?
Wait, what is Jamie's
Okay.
website? Not his Verify My Producer
I'm going to
website.
put this in the
What
chat.
website are you referring to? Okay.
This one right here, it's in the chat. So that one goes straight to the quote tools page. But if you click on resources or training, there is tons and tons of information on there. There's also financial inventory copies. There's the agent boot camp is on there. You can click on training and it'll go to overcoming objections, virtual sales, mindset, psychology of the sale from Shawn Mike, how to get to Hall of Fame, building an agency. Okay. And then
Okay.
Grady's, I'm going to put Grady's in here.
As you're doing that, Shawn, let's say that this one couple I was working with that they're maybe interested in IUL. Do you do an illustration every time with an IUL, or in something in my case, if I just tell them living benefits, the value, this and that, like can I get by selling an IUL without doing that whole big illustration?
So remember the conversation we had the other day? So that whole way that I just went through it with the IUL
Yeah.
on one we just did, that's
Yeah.
exactly how I did it, how I do it.
Okay.
Did I run an illustration?
No. Yeah.
Why? Well, why do you need an illustration? You don't have to, especially with Marico and with Mutual of Omaha. With the big carriers, NLG, F&G, Columbus Life, you do, because those guys will do millions of dollars worth of coverage for
Okay.
anybody, as
Yeah.
long as they qualify, of course, right? These guys won't. They have a cap. Mutual of Omaha, Ethos, America, they have a cap of what they'll do. That's what they're comfortable with doing with simplified issue, right?
Yeah.
So you don't need to run an illustration.
Cool.
And so which ones do I run an illustration for? Which ones do I not? If it's a lead that is looking for life insurance, like your Ethos abandoned leads, if it's a lead that's looking for mortgage protection, I won't do an illustration. I just kind of go over when I'm building the value. Remember, when you're building the value of the product, that's when you're selling the product.
Yeah.
That's the wholesale piece right there. The rest of it is just building rapport and credibility. They have to have credibility to know that you can help them, or you have to have credibility enough for them to know that you can help them.
Yeah.
And building rapport, nobody's going to buy something from a jerk, right? So building rapport is, becoming their friend, right? But you can do that throughout the whole conversation, right? But really selling the policy is the building the value part of it. And I have a whole training on all the 8 steps of how selling life insurance, and that's on the YouTube page too.
I just watched that the other day. That helped.
Oh,
With
you
the
did?
whole writing things down. Yep.
Cool. Okay. So that website I just put in there, there's Jamie's site, there's FFL America. Now I'm going to put another site in here that most people don't know about, because you have to have a password to get into it. And this is on Grady's site too. Okay, so that last one I put in there, click on that, both of you guys.
All right. Guest area password.
Join, JOIN.
Oh yeah, we're in.
Now here is all of the commission schedules and the bonuses and the compensation grids for every policy. This is how everything works behind the scenes.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so I'm not going to go over it with you guys. You guys
Yeah.
can now see what you're going to get paid on every single policy that you write.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so don't give that out to everybody. That's just for you.
Yeah.
Right. But that's how you get bonused as well. So if you look at right underneath the actual grid, it says monthly producer bonus. You write 20 grand in life insurance, you get a $650 bonus from FFL. You write
That's
70
nice.
grand, you get a $4,000 bonus from FFL. So I get 4 grand coming from FFL for writing 94. If I would have wrote 100, I would have got 8 grand. Damn.
Yeah, that's nice.
Right. So this is for your information only. Now, the one last thing, since my appointment rescheduled, I wanted to show you guys. Morgan, are you still there? You don't have to turn on your screen, but just let me know if you're still there. Maybe she's not.
Yep, she just sent it a chat.
Oh, she did. Okay. So this right here is my new site. Okay. Now this is also going to be your guys' site as well. Why? Because this right here is built for recruiting. Okay. This is the homepage. What they're going to do, and this is just the beginning of it. Okay. What they'll do is they'll say, I want to, what's Payback Life all about? Oh, no. I'm going to get that fixed right now. I bet you he doesn't know that that's. Okay. That was just an error. So once they click on work with us, it's going to bring up these videos right here. All of these videos are designed to get people excited about working with FFL.
It's interesting. Even though I haven't sold a policy yet, I have told my friends of what I'm doing, what I'm working towards, this and that. And there's friends already that are interested, and they're like, "Well, hey, if you start making good money, let me know." You know?
Yeah. So what you can do. So this talks about. You can go to the site and check it out. It's joinpaybacklife.com. So remember that. You can put it on business cards, and I'll tell you why here in a moment. But if you look, why choose FFL? This is a 3-minute video about what FFL does for us, right? This right here is Jamie doing a podcast with me, talking, letting them get to know me a little bit. And then it also goes into the training that we have available with us. This right here is the commission video. Talks about, it's called the Rogue IMO video. It's the commission video. It talks about how we get paid, what kind of money we make. It's a 15-minute video, goes into 8 different ways of how we get paid. And then Zach right here, he really in 20 minutes will give you all the goods, the bads, the uglies right here. And if they make it through all these videos and then they apply, I guarantee you they're going to become an agent. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is because I'm putting this out to my agents as well, all of them. So I need a good quality picture from you and what we're going to do, and then give us a bio of who you are. And so what I did was, when I created a bio, so this is a small little bio right here. That's all you need. Is I went and I put in ChatGPT and I said, I am a 3-time Hall of Fame. I need to create a bio of myself. Or what did I say? It's all about the prompt, right? Please rewrite a bio for me based off of these bullet points. And I'll say 3-time Hall of Fame agent, real estate investor, building a team, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll say, keep it within 3 to 4 sentences and short. And so send me a picture of you guys, a professional picture with a bio. Just shoot me an email with those 2 things in there. And what he's going to do, he's already asking me to get my team on this, is he's going to put a link right here of the team. And so when they see that and you send them this site, they're going to fill out this form, and then they'll say, let me click this again. Does it still go to, yep, it still does. I'm going to have to let him know. He doesn't know that. But they'll click on work with us. This actually goes to the same page as work with us. And they'll see all these videos. And then right down here, it says who referred you, and they're going to put your name. And so then this referral will go to you. And you guys can call that person, sell them on getting into FFL and becoming an agent. Or you and I can get on a Zoom with that person and I will sell them. It's up to you how you guys want to do that. And
so this
the
is,
way
just to clarify, this is different than how they say, you know, eventually, like, once I get really good, you know, I could start, like, you know, building a business and such. This is more so referrals to your team.
You're on my team.
Yeah.
It's referrals for you. So the way you should do this is tell everybody that you want to work with, because everybody that we recruit everybody that you recruit goes under you. Everybody that Morgan recruits goes under you. Right?
Okay.
So it's all part of your team. You're going to be a leader. You're going to train them in. But here's the deal. I'm going to help you train them in.
Okay.
You can leverage everything that I have to help build your team.
Okay.
Everything that I have. You can share the documents with them that I've created. All of what I have is yours.
This probably would be another call, but I'm really interested in, like, what that split is, of how that works, of, like, you help me, then they sell insurance, of, like, what split do I get compared to you, or all of that.
So look. I'll give you the breakdown. It's super easy. Let's say, let's go back to Grady's site here. I'm going to stop the recording.